Hi, I'm Victoria from Imaginary Spaces, and today I'm going to show you the basics of how to use our exporter package to export 3D models from your game. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to import the packet into your game. So go ahead and do that. And then once it finishes importing, I'm going to show you how to export using the editor to begin. So the first thing you're going to want to do is select the models you want to have exported. So I'll select the character and the floorbot model. And then you go into File, Export Selected, and here you can choose the format you want to export to. We currently support 3 formats, STL, OBJ, and SVG. So I'm going to go ahead and export to OBJ. Call it mesh4.obj and save. Now maybe if I want to edit this mesh in Blender, I can just open it in Blender, and there we have what it looks like. And I can edit that if I want to. So that's all there is to exporting from the editor. So next I'm going to show you how to export during runtime.
So in order to do that, we'll start by creating a simple UI. So I'll just add a button, and maybe I'll move the button to the corner of the screen. There. And rename it to say export. Alright. And okay. And then you want to attach to your button the IMG SPC exporter component, and as set a destination file name, so maybe robotarm.svg, and you can also set the export method here, or if you have a guess export method selected, then it will just try to guess the export method from your extension, file extension. Okay? So now if we add objects to export, maybe I just want to export this robot arm here, so I'll drag it into the list, and so it's there. And now so we have this button actually do something, we'll add an on-click event and drag the IMG SPC exporter here. And for the function, you're going to want to select export. Alright? Okay, great. And we've also added functionality, so if you want to have your users be able to enter their own file paths or file names, you can also just add an input field here. And to your input field, you can attach to the onValue change. You can add an onValue change event, add the button here, and then you'll set the function to set file name. And now it will take this file name from the input field rather than this file name if you write something in the input field. Alright, so let's test this out. Okay, so I'm going to export the robot arm to SVG. So giant robot arm.svg and export. Okay, so for those of you not familiar with SVG, what it does is basically create a wireframe model of what the camera sees of your object, which is kind of cool and sometimes useful. Alright, so that's the basics of how to export. Now there's just one last thing I want to show you, and that is how to export selectively within a hierarchy. And to do that, I'll just show you an example of how this can be useful. So maybe I want to export this to my character here and have her 3D printed. But this character, she has, her arms are too thin to be printed, maybe. So I don't want to print this exact model, but maybe a simpler model of her. But in the game, I still want to be able to show the complicated model because there's no point in showing a simpler and uglier model in the game if I can show this complicated version. Okay, so in order to do this, what you can do is you can attach your simpler model into the hierarchy of the characters. So here the simple one is I just added a capsule. And then there's also the complicated model in the hierarchy too. And so the capsule, we don't want it to show up in game, so you can just remove the mesh renderer and the collider. And so it's just a mesh. And you can leave the other one as is because we still want to show up in the game. But now, so for when exporting, we only want to export the capsule but not the character. So to the capsule, you're going to add an export marker and unselect require renderer, so even if it doesn't show up in the game, it'll still get exported. And at the same time, to your character, your more complicated mesh, you're going to want to add an export marker as well. But for this one, you should uncheck self and children so that neither it nor its children will get exported. Okay? And then, so we want to export the character, so I'll just drag her over here instead of the robot arm. Now if I hit play and type in STL, okay, and export her. Now it should export the capsule. Here, right, the capsule gets exported but not the character. Okay? So that's basically all I wanted to show you. And so for more information, you can look at the README that's included with the package, or you can just look directly at the code. So I hope you enjoy, and thanks for listening.